A country that has a high savings rate does not mean that everyone in the country is rich and owns businesses and mansions. Some people may be piss poor in a country that has been ranked as one of those with the highest savings rates. It boils down to how the government uses the assets and how they're distributed among all citizens. Hey everybody, welcome to Frugal Facts. Today, we're going to go over the 10 countries with the highest savings rates. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can help you with saving tips regularly. Now, let's get straight into the video. Number 10, Qatar. Qatar is a rich country located in the Middle East famous for its exports. Being a World Bank high-income economy, Qatar has the largest natural gas reserves and oil reserves. With a small population of only 2.88 million people, it has clinched the title as being the wealthiest country in the world. Due to its wealth in natural gases, other minerals such as ammonia and cement, and oil reserves, Qatar remains one of the countries in the world with the highest savings rates. For example, a report published in 2021 states that Qatar's GDP was estimated at over $273 billion, with 40% coming directly from oil exports. 60% comes from other sectors. This means that if the total value of the goods and services in Qatar were to be divided among its citizens, each would have $133,000, which is more than double the per capita GDP of the United States. Who would have thought the country that has the highest savings rate would have such a small population? Number 9, Ireland. In December of 2020, Ireland had a gross savings rate of 59.8%, making it one of the countries that have a high savings rate. In 2020, Irish households saved twice as much as they did in the previous year, totaling $28 billion. But Ireland's high savings rate was due also to Europe's sovereign debt crisis. With a 57.6% savings rate, Ireland is listed as one of the top 10 countries with the highest household savings rates, and the GDP per capita is expected to reach $80,000 by 2022. That is enormous growth for a country that is already doing well in the economic sector. While the Irish economy was affected by the pandemic due to unemployment, it is expected to rebound in the second half of this year. But according to the European Commission's spring economic forecast, Ireland's economy is projected to grow by 4.6% in 2021 and 5% in 2022. On a personal savings note, Ireland's central bank reports that there was a surge in savings during the pandemic, with households saving €123 billion, an equivalent of $148 billion. This shows that even personal savings rates are high despite the setbacks. Number 8, Macau. Macau, located in the southeast of China, is so rich that the government writes an annual check equivalent to $1,250 to its citizens in a wealth-sharing program. Who wouldn't want to live in a country like that? With a GDP per capita of a little more than $129,000, citizens of Macau have financial advantages. Macau saves 64.3% of gross domestic savings. This is the highest rate for any country. The government also pays its citizens due to the massive profits they get from the casinos, which are a booming industry in the area. It is worth mentioning because it rakes in 7 times more in annual gaming than Las Vegas, which it surpassed years ago. If you want to visit Macau, their visa policy is lenient and you're allowed to visit from 7 days to 1 year depending on your nationality. Macau overtook Sin City as the world's most lucrative gambling destination. Macau's permanent residents received an annual check of an equivalent of $1,200. Non-residents receive an equivalent of $670. Fun tip. Did you know that Macau is the only territory in China where casinos are legal? Number 7, Singapore. Although Singapore has a small domestic market and limited supply of natural resources, the country weathered through both the 1997 and 2008 financial crises. Presently, it is considered to be one of the most financially stable countries in the world. One of the facts that makes Singapore a stable country financially is because it does not have any foreign debt. It also has high government revenue and consistent financial growth. It also has a highly successful free market economy. It benefits from transparent, corruption-free dealings, has a higher GDP compared to other developed countries, and enjoys stable prices. With the manufacturing sector being the biggest industry in Singapore, it is mainly driven by electronics and machine manufacturing, tourism, and exports. Singapore has the largest and busiest cargo seaport in the world, with a GDP standing at $107 billion and a gross national income of $59,590 per capita and a 53.8% savings rate. Singapore is not doing too bad in the savings department. Number 6. China. The remarkably high savings rate in China makes it rank as one of the countries that have an outstanding savings rate in the world, which was standing at 45.7% in December of 2020 compared to 44.2% in 2019. In March 2021, China's GDP expanded by 18.3%. The reason that China has such a high savings rate is that the government has not run large budget deficits or surpluses. Household and corporate savings drive China's savings rate in leaps and bounds. Some reports indicate that low birth rates and the low need to spend on children, as well as the inability to rely on children after retirement, become an incentive to save money, which accounts for higher savings rates in China. Did you know that China saves half of its GDP? Amazing! Number 5. United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates is a country in the Middle East with a savings rate of 47.8% and a $57,744 GDP per capita. The economy of the UAE is mostly driven by its substantial oil exports. The UAE is termed as the third richest country in the world. Besides oil exports, the UAE is also known for its world-class tourism, especially in Dubai. The UAE also has a notable financial industry. With several banks being the backbone of the industry, they provide retail and corporate services to members of the public and private sectors. Also, the global Islamic financial sector has grown rapidly, trading in assets worth billions of dollars, which increases the United Arab Emirates savings rates. Number 4. Brunei. With an average of 57.3% savings rate, Brunei ranks among the best savers. Brunei has a gross national income of $76,314 GDP per capita. With vast reserves of petroleum and natural gases, Brunei's economy is heavily dependent on the export of oils and natural gases. But they have also made major milestones with a mixture of domestic and foreign entrepreneurship alike, such as agriculture, fisheries, financial services, and tourism to diversify the economy. Its reputation and wealth has been around for decades, with its crude oil exports accounting for more than half of its GDP. It is safe to say that most people are frugal there and can manage their money very well because there are a few prohibitions which frugal people like to do away with anyways. What's more, citizens of Brunei don't pay taxes and still enjoy all the services offered by the public sector. What we wouldn't give to enjoy a tax-free life. Number 3. Luxembourg. Luxembourg's gross savings rate stands at 54.1% thanks to it being a services sector hub. It has several European Union institutions and has a large financial sector due to a favorable tax regime. Just to mention, Luxembourg is the second richest country in the world, and before it turned to the financial sector and investment banking, Luxembourg was driving its economy by mining coal until this mineral started declining. As much as it is a fairly small country, Luxembourg boasts a $131,782 per capita GDP, value of all goods and services produced in the country annually. This shows the economic health of Luxembourg and how good the savings rates are. High savings rates are due to low population and also a balanced financial situation. This country can only get better from here. Number 2. Republic of Congo. First things first, there's a difference between the Republic of Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The Republic of Congo, or Congo-Brazzaville as the locals call it, is a small country with about 5 million people and rich in oil exports. With a GDP per capita of $3,435, this small African country also boasts of subsistence farming alongside its large oil sector, which drives the economy and raises the GDP per capita. It has been ranked among the countries with high savings rates. The Republic of Congo is facing an economic recession due to its underperformance in the oil sector, which forced it to lower oil prices. The economy is expected to have a turnaround in 2021 with a 1.2% GDP growth if the world economy goes back to normal. But even in the face of an economic downturn, the country still records high savings rates. And besides being a country with some of the highest savings rates, the Republic of Congo is also good for tourists because it's one of the safest places to be. Before we get into number 1, make sure to check out the links in the description for our best recommendations to boost your savings. Number 1. Gabon. It seems like all the countries that are rich in oil do quite good for themselves financially. To add another oil-rich country that is doing well in the savings rate department, Gabon has made a name for itself for being among the top countries that have recorded high savings rates. Gabon is an African country that depends largely on oil exports, which plays a big role in its domestic savings rates. With a GDP per capita of $15,000 and a savings rate of 52.2%, Gabon ranks very high compared to its neighbors. Because of the pandemic, the economy of many countries has been affected, and Gabon was not left behind. Its gross savings fell from 27.8% to 21.8%. This does not mean that its savings rates are not good. Gabon has been rated as one of the wealthiest countries in Africa. It is also famous for being the first African country to be paid $150 million by Norway to protect its forests. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of savings tips and much more. Check out this playlist of my top 10 videos of saving money tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.